Let's move it on to Chelsea, my friend. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. I want to start with Nottingham Forest because there's plenty to talk on Chelsea, and it's easy to talk about what Chelsea didn't do. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest, my friend, Steve Cooper. And 7 players coming in on the deadline. Losing Brennan Johnson for 60 million to Spurs on the last day of the deadline. You know, getting his business done, keeping his head down, working with his team. Awani, Danilo and Gibbs White at the top end of the pitch causing problems. Elanga comes on for Danilo, gets a goal, they hang on to it, they keep a clean sheet. And just the sense, Rob, that, you know, Forest are getting used to, accustomed to what the Premier League offers.
Yeah, they are, Rob, and I think, you know, the shape, we've seen the shape before, Rob, and this is why it's so different for Forest to last year. They took them months to find out what their thing was going to be. We know what it is now. So in a game like this where you go away at a big club, it's 5 at the back, it's 4 in midfield, narrow, and it's 1 up front. 5-4-1, narrow, very narrow. They don't mind being super deep as well.
Correct.
You know, a little bit part of the bus-ish a little bit sometimes. But when you go to Chelsea, why not? With the money that they've spent, I thought they were very, very strong. Anthony Elanga, Rob, is a brilliant signing.
Yeah.
It's just a brilliant signing, and I guess he was available for many other clubs.
Todd Bowley must look at all those billions he spent, by the way, and look at that kid Elanga and go, ooh, there's one we missed.
Yeah, and I was interested with the interview he did afterwards, Rob, and he said, and I quote here, "I'm someone who wants to score goals." Now, I know maybe that sounds silly, like all players want to score goals, but no, when you're a wide player, you're a wide midfield player, you know, sometimes it's more about other things, but the modern day wide forward in football has got to be a goal scorer, and I like the fact that he's willing to say that, I want to score goals. It's just something I want to be. Come on, he's very, very quick, he's very cool in front of goal. He's probably going to start, Rob, isn't he, soon? I mean,
you would think so.
I don't know. At some point, he's going to come into the game for one of those fours. Probably Danilo, Rob, maybe, to come in. Gibbs White, we both really like him. And they've got a striker. Awani, they've got a striker. They've got a striker who can score goals. So defensive toughness. I thought he defended brilliantly against Chelsea that struggled to create too much. We know the manager's smart enough. You know, Forest's going to be all right this year. They're going to be okay. And with all the blipping signings they've made, you know, like some of them are going to work out great. Elanga is somebody who's going to work out great. So I thought he adds to this Nottingham Forest side. But you're right. Maybe you're right to mention them first. Great win for them.
Yeah, and you know, again, sneaked past me, Divock Origi on loan, I believe, from AC Milan, late bit of business. You know, Divock, who doesn't love him? 2 little things, Rob, just to mention before we get into Chelsea, because that's obviously a bigger story. One, Steve Cooper said the only bad decision he made in the game was to wear a woolly jumper. And he was sweating that much. I don't know if you saw in the second half, he had a towel with him, kept toweling himself down. Didn't quite believe it was going to be so hot in thing. And a slightly more serious point, Joe Worrell, the captain of Nottingham Forest, I don't know if you read the backstory, that he played in the game at the weekend, captained the team and wanting to make sure he got the 3 points for Forest. But on Thursday, his uncle, who's a policeman, was involved in trying to save somebody who was on a train tracks and got hit himself by a train track and died on the Thursday ahead of the game.
Blimey.
And I think Steve Cooper gave him the option to not be involved, and he said, no, I want to do the right thing. And I saw the story yesterday and just saw, you know, Joe Worrell deserves a special mention, you know, and the spirit of what Nottingham Forest and it means to this team and these players in that club. So, you know, tip of the hat to Joe Worrell, and our commiserations, obviously, losing a close member of his family. Let's turn things to Chelsea, my friend, and Mauricio Pochettino, and you know the new Notts Forest in terms of signing as many players as they can, having to find the chemistry, having to build the relationships, having to bring some consistency to the group. This Rob, to me, felt like the Graham Potter Chelsea watching. Possession, not really creating chances, not turning stuff in, no real chemistry and rhythm about what they were doing. It felt like a backward step, mate.
Robert, I'm sorry, Chelsea fans, but I think this is going to be a tough year. I think it's going to be a tough year.
Yeah.
No, I do. I don't see enough consistent quality in the front areas. I think Nicholas Jackson will get He'll get the odd goals from running in behind. He'll get some tap-ins, and a lot will be expected of Raheem Sterling, that was a little quieter today in this game and didn't have the same impact. Enzo Fernandez playing in a higher role. He's a lovely footballer, Rob. Should he be doing more as an attacking? Yeah. He's one of an attacking three, really. Yeah. Enzo, Sterling, and
got to get goals
Jackson
from somewhere.
You've got your wing
got
backs.
to get midfield goals from somewhere.
Enzo's not a scorer, is he? He's not he's not a big scorer. I think I'd rather have Gallagher up in that position. That's got more, and Caicedo, by the way. I mean, you know what's interesting, Rob? Right, and this is what Rebecca said to us about a week ago or something when Caicedo's move went through. I don't know whether she said it on air, whether we were chatting off air. She said, that's a huge fee. Yeah. And I've never really heard you guys glowingly talk about Caicedo and do Brighton. Now I know we don't get Brighton as much to really study as the bigger teams that we do in the studio stuff. But I thought, she's kind of right there. I think we like. He's a really good player, Caicedo. He's good age and he's athletic. He breaks up the play. He makes good decisions on the board. He can play in different positions. So but. She's right, Rob. Like we haven't really we have with Declan Rice. Before with Declan Rice, what a player, what a Rolls Royce. So he had a good start to Chelsea, Rob. No. He's not had a good start. And again, if I'm knee jerking a little bit, maybe, but he made a mistake. Was he a mistake for the goal or?
He got caught in possession. Didn't he?
Tell me,
he's better in possession in midfield. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave a bad touch.
Yeah, and they got possession. I mean. I think I think long term, I think it's good business. I think he's a young man. He's probably a little bit inconsistent. He's not helped by what's around him, the instability of the team. We've got one season body of work, Rob, that Bex is right. I think a lot of people saw a lot of good things. He ticks a lot of data box, Robs, in terms of what he covers and interceptions and things. So that is all good, but sometimes you want to see something with your eye. You want to see those relationships. You want to see something that you go, oh, okay, that's what he's really good at. And listen, he's 2 games in. He had the bad day when he came on against West Ham. He didn't have a particularly good day there. There's going to be good days with Caicedo, and he's going to be important, I think, to the football club as he grows and develops. But you're right, for $146 million, it hasn't quite started as you would like for Chelsea and for Mauricio Pochettino. And again, he's got to find the balance. Is Gallagher going to be the guy who plays next to him? Is Lavia going to come in the team? Another young guy who we don't really know what their level is, Rob. We don't know what their consistency is. Are they an 8 out of 10 guy every week, or are they going to be a 6 and then a 9?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, could be. Listen, Rob, from day one, I've said about this never been done before experiment at Chelsea Football Club. Never been done before, where you're trying to pick the best players around the world. Yeah. There have been big fees, long contracts to come into this club, and the manager's got to try and mould and make a team. Never seen it before. But this amount of change at once. There's no foundation. There's no history of this is what works for us in a particular season. It's a whole new team, and all these young players for massive fees. We said it from day one. Oftentimes, Rob. And the young players come into the league with a massive expectation, and for whatever reason, they haven't quite been able to do it. And I worry that Chelsea, that they might have bought a few of them. One great example is Mykhailo Mudryk, of course, was a player that they were desperate to get, high fee. I'm like, wow. I remember saying, this guy needs to work. This is a big fee. They spent a long time getting him. He hasn't really done it. He's an example, Rob, of a player that, in his previous club and stuff, looks like $1 million. But oftentimes when you jump up to this level, this incredibly physical, difficult, challenging level, that some of these young players are not that good. And you got the likes of Thiago Silva, proven, can do it. Yeah. Raheem Sterling, proven, can do it. Ben Chilwell, proven, can do it. Reece James, and the others, with your Caicedos and your Gustos and your Jackson and your Dizazis and all these new players, apart from Chukwuemeka, who actually looks pretty good. And also, Rob, Chukwuemeka is one's missing, and Christopher Nkunku. It's not as though Chelsea can say, but when we get our our main strikers, but this is it. This is kind of Nkunku is to come back. Chukwuemeka I really like, but again he's another one of those kind of Gallagher Enzos. Yeah.
What's that thing?
Yeah, Matt Turner, Rob. Matt Turner, the US international goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest, new signing, didn't have much to do. Amazing.
Just on that moment, and I'll go back to what I said. I think when we started the conversation a couple of words ago, I'm feeling that this is a 2-year to get competitive, Rob. I think it's a 2-year process. I think this year's about finding out about some of those guys and are they good enough and what they're going to be and what do they offer the team, and then it's about building on from there. Just want to throw one more name at you before we move it on to Manchester City. I want to throw Cole Palmer at you, my friend. Another one.
Yeah,
Cole
he looked
Palmer.
all right. Yeah,
looked all right. But bought from Man City.
He had a few touches
for big money. Young player who was allowed to leave City, and that's fine from City's point of view. They get a good fee. Do you see Cole Palmer making their first 11 regularly? Does he go from Man City's bench to Chelsea's first team, or is he going to go from Man City's bench to Chelsea's bench?
No, I think he'll get a lot more opportunities, Rob, but I thought he had a little bit of something different when he came in. He's got a little bit of craft about his game and his little bit of quality. But again, it's a young player that we think he's going to be great, like Mudryk, like Enzo, like so many others. Yeah. But are they going to be great? And I think with the nature of young players, Rob, what do we always say about young players? They can be inconsistent. Well, you got a whole team of them. You got a whole team of it. So Poch has got a job on to try and find a formula. And I think the quicker he goes from a back 5 to a back 4, Rob,
which he wants
the better to have another. He's got to turn up. I'm very much about the attacking and defensive dials. You know that. He's got to turn up the attacking dial. Examples of people turning up the attacking dial. Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton turns the attacking dial right up. Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham, attacking dial right up. Obviously you've got to be smart about it. You don't want to be gung-ho and concede a load of goals. But I feel like you can't have 2 years, Rob, of Chelsea struggling, toiling to score home against some of the lower. So I am a bit concerned about Chelsea and their possibility of getting anywhere near the top 4, anywhere near it. I don't know if they're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think we all know it's a project, and Poch is the right guy, but he's going to need the patience. Poch, project, patience, all the P's, my friend, all the P's.
Correct.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.